This is the Downhill World Cup at Fort William. Let's take a look around the pits to look at the pros bikes and see some of the cool tech they're using. So we're in the Trek Factory Racing pits, and this is the Session 29er. There's only a couple of these in existence at the moment. It's ridden by G Atherton at the British Downhill Series. Unfortunately, G is out injured for this race, so actually Graham Mudd is riding this bike this weekend. It's 190mm travel session bike, 29-inch wheels obviously, 203 up front. It's got an aluminium rear end for the moment, carbon one coming very soon, and they're available to pre-order. Trek Factory Racing actually invested in one of these telemetry systems for the suspension. You can see it's strapped to Graham's bike at the moment. So Graham will rise the course, he'll practice with this all on to find out how much travel he's using on this bike, how fast he's going through it, all sorts of information to help the mechanics set up Graham's bike for this Fort William course. So this is Remy Tirion's Commencal Supreme 29er. So unusually for some of the 29er downhill bikes, we've actually seen a brand new front end. A lot of people have just been adapting the rear ends to fit the bigger wheels. You see this big curve in that seat tube to give space for that rear wheel movement. 29er wheels, obviously, we've got these prototype spank rims with a 33mm exterior width. We've got a RockShox Super Deluxe air shock on the rear and the prototype RockShox 29er fork up front. Also the brand new SRAM code brakes. So this is Conor Fearon's Kona operated DL's 2018 frame. It's got a slightly different linkage on it. 27.5-inch wheels. It's got this brand new core pivotal seat and posts. That's almost like a BMX style. Big Crank Brothers stamp flat pedals, and take a look at these pins he's got in there. Some savage pins to keep his feet totally planted. One of the few top riders to still ride flat pedals, and he got 5th place at the first round in Lord. A couple of really nice touches on Conor's bike. We've got these integrated bump stops up on the frame and also the ODI ones on the fork. Stop that fork knock-in on the frame. That brand new RockShox Super Deluxe coil shock, and also the Aussie colours on the spoke nipples of the rear wheel. All right, so this is Matt Walker's Cube 215. There's a few differences with this bike to the standard bike. We've actually got a longer front end. It's an XL frame, this is. And the linkage has been changed slightly, and also the pivot point to make this bike slightly more progressive. That's something we'll see on the bike next year. There's a few really cool little custom touches. We've got conventional grips wired on there. We've got a bit of grip tape on the shifter to get a bit more purchase on that. We've also got a shock whiz on the fork and on the rear shocks. We've seen a lot of really expensive telemetry systems, but this is a really neat system that will also give you some of that information on how that suspension's working. We're at the Newt Proof pits, and there is Sam Hill's downhill bike. We haven't seen him race that for a while, but it's good to see him here at Fort William. Probably the only race he's doing this year. And this is also a very cool bike. This is Nigel Page, who is the team manager for the downhill and enduro team, but also a pro enduro racer himself and a bit of a downhill legend. And this is very custom Newt Proof Mega in these Barry Sheene colours. So Barry Sheene was a very famous motorcycle racer in the 70s, and these are his custom colours, that red, yellow, white, and also a lot of gold. He's got these gold Mavic wheels, custom painted, but also that SRAM Eagle gold chain anchor set. Looks really cool. So let's take a look around the Specialized Gravity pits. This is Finn Isles' bike. He's a #1 ranked junior downhill racer. Amazing paint job on this bike. Just take a look at that. Olin suspension, front and rear, coil shock on the rear, and that fully stealth fork up front. Over here we've got Loic Bruni's bike, former world champion himself, and look at that Olin's fork. Gold stanchions on there, look very trick. Formula brakes, these calipers look like prototypes to me, totally unbranded, like raw looking caliper. Again, look at the paint job on that bike, sort of lovely, speckledy, glittery bike. Very cool. You can see another bike here being built. That's got the telemetry system all over that as well. That rear end does not look standard. In the back of the tent, I spy a Specialized Demo 29er, but it doesn't look like it's getting ridden this weekend. So this is Fayol's bike, the Polygon DH9, that #1 plate on there. Obviously he won the first round in Lord. The coolest thing about this bike is this homemade rear shock. So made by his mechanic, who works in a garage, actually make the frames for MotoGP bikes. So it's all machined. You've got this lockout on there, so you've got the lever up on the bar, locks out the low speed compression. Very trick. So this is Danny Hart's Mondraker Summum 29er. Now it's interesting to see how one of the shorter riders on the circuit makes the 29er work for him. You see how he's dropped the fork right through on those triple clamps to get that front end down. You see the saddle is pushed right forward on the rails to just give him that space for the rear wheel to move. He's got a Stages power meter on this bike and a head unit. He says he actually has his max power displayed up on there. When I asked him how it rides compared to his 27.5 bike, he says it's wicked. So there you go, some really cool tech from the pits in Fort William. Definitely a lot of 29ers, some prototype stuff, We've seen those RockShox 29er forks. Only Intense and Common Style have those forks. RockShox, don't really want to talk about it just yet. If you want to see more videos, click on the GMBN logo to subscribe. Click down there for Ask GMBN from Fort William and over there for the Dirt Shed Show from Fort William. Give us a thumbs up if you like this video.